What's up, wonderful students? All right, today we're going to talk about A.4. We were doing day 2 yesterday with adding and subtracting. We're going to do, there's only 2 notes problems. It's actually on the back side of this that you received on Thursday. So if you didn't get any of these, they should be in the Thursday folder in that black rack on the desk in there. So if you guys flip to the back side, you'll see complex fractions. There's 6 of these problems. I'll show you the notes on 2, then you're free to log off and work on the last 4. I think maybe I'll actually work through 7 and 8 as well if you want a second example of each of these 2 types of problems that we'll have. I think we would file these under looks more difficult than they are. I won't lie to you, they can be challenging, but there's no new skills here. It's all stuff that we can do. It's just a lot of little details that we need to pay attention to and be really careful with our operations that we're doing. So in a nutshell, we have, if we look at number 5 here, it's one fraction divided by another. So we basically did these on the first day of this stuff a couple days ago. It's x squared minus 1 over x plus 2 divided by x minus 1 squared over x squared minus 4. It's just written as a fraction over a fraction, which is a complex fraction. But really, it's this first fraction divided by x minus 1 squared over x squared minus 4. Okay, so that's what that fraction bar means, right? That means divided by. So how do we handle these? Well, instead of dividing by that fraction, we want to multiply by the reciprocal. So let me actually erase that. That was just to show you what we meant by this whole thing. But we're going to do switch this. Okay, so instead of dividing by this fraction, I'm going to multiply by its reciprocal. So times x squared minus 4 over x minus 1 squared. All right, so how do we do that? Well, same as we've been doing. This is no different than the other day. So I want to factor every piece, the numerators and the denominators, as best I can. So we have I'll rewrite it, x plus 1, x minus 1, times x plus 2, x minus 2, all over x plus 2, x minus 1 squared, so I'll write that twice. Now we can cancel some things out, right? I have an x plus 2 and x plus 2, x plus 1, x plus 1, x minus 1, and I'm left with x plus 1, x minus 2 over x minus 1. So that's as far as we can go. Then I'll list my restrictions. And keep in mind, the restrictions come from 3 different places. So we have restrictions from everything but the first numerator. So I get restrictions from here because that's a denominator. I get restrictions from here because that's a denominator. But also keep in mind, this x squared minus 4 was a denominator to start with. So I'm going to get restrictions from there. So you'll get 3 pieces, like 2 denominators and 1 numerator, where you'll have restrictions from. So we look at the factored versions of those. It was basically all these factors, right, are going to give us the restricted value. So I have negative 2, positive 2, negative 1. I don't think negative 1, right? Negative 2. Positive 2 and 1. I think that sounds right. Okay. I'm going to pause, change some settings, and then I'll be right back for that second one. All right, so there's number 5. Let's talk about number 6. So I want to look at the numerator first, then we'll look at the denominator. You'll notice that the numerator, I have to work on combining some like terms, or I have to work on adding some fractions together here. So let's isolate that numerator. So x minus 3 minus 4 over 1. I can't combine those. I need one fraction on the numerator. I need one fraction. Right now it's two fractions if we think of 4 as a fraction. So x over 3 minus 4 over 1, I need to multiply this by 3 over 3, right, to have that common denominator of 3. So it really becomes x minus 12 over 3. Now it's one fraction. Let's take a look at the bottom as well. 5 plus 1 over x. So it's 5 over 1 plus 1 over x. I want to multiply that first fraction by x over x. And that'll give me x as the common denominator. So we get 5x plus 1 over x. So if I think about these two, I wish I would have written that a little better, but it's really this first fraction over the second fraction, right? It's this fraction over this fraction. So I'm going to take the reciprocal of the bottom fraction and then multiply those two together. So we get x minus 12 over 3 times x over 5x plus 1. And we can do some distributing. We get x squared minus 12x over, you can leave it factored, 3 times 5x plus 1. Nothing's going to cancel, right? But I could distribute and get 15x plus 3. All right, so there is my final answer. Restrictions, x cannot equal, let's see, x cannot equal, we get restrictions from here, but there's no x. From here, which is going to be negative 1 over 5. And also from here, so that'll be 0. So 2 restricted values. All right, so you have 4 problems you can try. If you really want to see, maybe I'll do 7 and 8. I'll try to do them a little more quickly. But that's it. Your homework is going to be on Classroom. There's going to be another scavenger hunt. You're not going to walk around the room and do it like we did for the other day for the seniors that were here. It'll just be basically 16 problems. If you want to, you could just do them in order. Anything you don't finish is going to be homework. So, all right, guys, if you're logging off, thank you. All right, so we'll do 7. 7, again, I want to have one fraction on the top. I currently have 2. So let's see if I can do this without rewriting as much. I think I just have to multiply by 2 over 2 on the second fraction. That'll give me a common denominator of 4. So on the top, 3 times 2 is 6. That'll give me x plus 6 over 4. On the bottom, I have 2 over 1 minus 3 over x. Right, that's over 1. I think if I multiply by x over x, that gets me x on the bottom. So I get 2x minus 3 over x. So I think blue ink is better. It's not as threatening. So I want to do the first fraction, instead of dividing by this fraction, I'll do times the reciprocal of that bottom fraction. So x plus 6 over 4 times x over 2x minus 3. We get x squared plus 6x over 8x minus 12. And we can see this was fully factored form over here, right? None of those numerators or denominators can be factored anymore. Nothing's going to cancel. So I know when I distribute it, if I factored it again, nothing's going to cancel because I would just be back to where I started from. So here's your final answer. And again, we're going to get restrictions from everything other than the original, well, I say original, everything other than the top numerator. So restrictions from here, no x, so no restrictions. Restrictions from here, set that equal to 0. We're going to get x cannot equal 3/2. And I'll get restrictions from here. X cannot equal 0. All right, next one. I already have one fraction over another fraction, so it's a little easier. I'm just going to take this, flip it for the reciprocal, and multiply. So what was that? 2p plus 4 over 16p plus 72. So we multiply, but instead of just multiplying, I actually want to factor and cancel. So let's see, I'll start with this fraction. What can we factor out? I think it's just a 3, right? So I get 2p plus 9 over 18 and 36. I can take out 18. I can take out p. I'm left with p plus 2. Second fraction, I can take out 2 and I have p plus 2, so it looks like that'll cancel, which is nice. In the bottom, 16 and 72, I know 8 goes into both of those. Let's see if that's the biggest thing. 8, and I have 2p plus 8 times 9 gives me 72. 2p plus 9. So I got a few things. We got 2p plus 9, 2p plus 9, p plus 2, p plus 2. I want to look at my coefficients. 3 over 18 is really 1 over 6. 2 over 8 is 1 over 4. So on the top, I think I just have 1, right? Bottom, I have a 6. Don't forget about this p right here. 6p and 4, so that's 6 times 4, 24p. P cannot equal, let's see, so restrictions, 0 and -2. -2 again from that second numerator, and then the second denominator, -9/2. All right, guys, good luck. Have a great weekend. Thank you.